This is the life story of Don and Marie Marzuki, whose lives have been honored through an endowment fund created within the Community Foundation by their son, Jack Marzuki. Don Marzuki was born in 1895 in Aurora, Illinois. His given name was Dante, which he used on official documents until the 1940s. His parents, Adam and Pauline Marzuki, immigrated to America from Italy to escape the political turmoil in that country, which was not unified at that time in history. They landed in Boston, living in the Italian section of the city. When they arrived in Aurora, Illinois, Don's father served as a translator for the French community in the Sacred Heart neighborhood of Aurora. However, due to the prejudice Italians experienced at that time, he could only find work as a manual laborer. Don's mother, Pauline, was a peasant who did not have the advantage of an education. Yet she was a loving mother to 5 children. Don attended Lincoln School in Aurora, but had to leave school to earn money to support the family. Don may have been small in stature, but he was ambitious and energetic from an early age. In his teens, he was a quarterback for the Yellow Jackets, a local football team that played at Heard's Island in Aurora. His football jersey is now housed at the Aurora Historical Society Museum. When Don was 15 years old, he began working for the Stove Works on Rathbone and Sard Avenues in Aurora. The company made acorn stoves, ranges, and heaters. Many Aurorans owned these celebrated appliances. Don's father, Adam, brother Sebastian, and 2 uncles were employed at the Stove Works as well. Don left the company to serve in the field of aviation for the United States Navy during World War I. He then returned to the Stove Works for a few years. It was during this time that he met his wife, Marie. Marie was born in 1901 in Aurora. Her grandparents were immigrants from Luxembourg and farmed in Big Woods, now called Marywood. Marie's parents, Frank and Anne Shattuck, had 4 children. Marie's father died after being hit by a train while gathering pieces of coal that had fallen from train cars in the Burlington Yard on Aurora's Near East Side. He had often collected coal at the yard to warm the family home. After her husband's death, Anne placed her children in the German Lutheran Orphan Asylum in Addison, Illinois. The facility, built in 1873, was torn down in 1959. The village of Addison's City Hall now occupies the site. When Marie and her sisters became teenagers, they were sent to River Forest Homes to work as live-in servants, where they earned 25 cents a week. Later, Marie took employment at an apparel factory in Aurora on Union Street and North Avenue. She immediately started a savings account at one of the local banks. When the economy collapsed in 1929, she attempted to take her savings out of the bank. According to her son, Jack, she couldn't have saved too much, as the teller promised to give her his own money if the bank failed. In the early 1920s, Don and Marie were married. Their marriage took place in Holy Angels Catholic Church in Aurora. They then moved in with Don's parents, who lived on Woodlawn Avenue. 2 of Don and Marie's children, Jimmy and Jean, were born while the couple lived in the home. Before their 3rd child, Edwin, was born, they purchased a home at 531 May Street in Aurora. They took out a mortgage through the Home Savings and Loan Association of Aurora and faithfully made payments of $17.50 each month. Eventually, all 6 of Don and Marie's children were raised in that home. The Marzukis' first 4 children were Jimmy, Jean, Edwin, and Jack. Their last 2 children, Jerry and Judy, were born in later years. For a brief period in their early marriage, Don and Marie owned a Moon motor car, a mid-level car that was manufactured in the early 1900s. However, during the Great Depression, they were forced to sell the car. Around 1929, Don took employment at Oatman's Dairy, which was located on Middle Avenue in downtown Aurora from 1918 until 1942. With no car, Don bicycled to and from work in all types of weather, sunshine, rain, or snow. He delivered milk to local residents in a horse-drawn wagon from the Middle Avenue location, and later from the new Prairie Street location, which the company opened in 1942. Don was a dependable employee and eventually was promoted to a sales position in the 1950s. He retired from the company in the early 1960s with a pension of $25 per month. Don's son, Jack, remembered how his father was accountable for all of the milk products he delivered. If his customers did not pay for their deliveries, Don had to reimburse the company for the loss. But that was a fact of life in those days. Marie was a devoted mother who always put her children's needs ahead of her own. As son Jack reminisced, "We children grew up in the Great Depression, but we didn't know we were poor. We always had food on the table due to the credit extended by the mom-and-pop grocery stores in Aurora." Sadly, tragedy struck the family in May 1934 when the Marzukis' 7-year-old son, Edwin, died after being severely burned while playing with matches. Marie also suffered severe burns to her hands in trying to extinguish the flames. Edwin's savings account book from Merchants National Bank in Aurora remains as testimony of his desire to follow in his parents' footsteps. The savings program was sponsored by Hill Elementary School, where Edwin attended. The last entry in the book was May 8, 1934, 4 days before his death. "Life was never the same after that," Jack lamented. "In addition to the emotional pain we all suffered, my father had to borrow money to pay for Edwin's funeral, which he repaid at $7.50 a month for many years." 5 years later, in 1939, Don and Marie's 5th child, Jerry, was born. And then, in 1943, their youngest child, Judy, was born. Judy suffered brain damage and was given 24-hour care by Don and Marie for the rest of their lives. Upon their deaths, Jack, with the invaluable help of his sister Jean, took care of Judy until her death in 2000. In later life, Don and Marie moved to Evanslawn Avenue, which became a home for family gatherings as the children grew older. Their 50th anniversary celebration was held at their daughter Jean's home. It was attended by all of the living members of their family. Don and Marie were faithful members of St. Rita's Catholic Church and instilled a strong work ethic in their children. Daughter Jean was a devoted homemaker who married Bob Mangers, Aurora's fire chief. Jean passed away in the early 1990s. Jerry became a newspaper editor, working for the Aurora Beacon News, and later the Elgin Courier. He lives in Elgin, Illinois. Jack was a teacher in Oak Park River Forest and currently lives in Plano, Illinois. After a career in education, Jimmy became an Illinois state representative, serving the residents of Park Forest. Jimmy was division chairman at Rich High School, established an art center in Park Forest, and was instrumental in establishing the Thorn Creek Nature Preserve, perhaps his most cherished achievement. He also inherited his parents' creativity and became a talented and highly respected artist who was instrumental in promoting the arts in Park Forest. Jimmy died in 2000. Don and Marie Marzuki were proud, hard-working Americans. Their timeless values of honesty and integrity were passed down to their children and to their children's children. It is in this spirit that they are remembered with deep affection and sincere gratitude.